Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence.
Welcome to Mid-South Barn Dominiums. We realize there's a lot of options when it comes to finding a builder for your next home. Here at Mid-South, we understand that customer service, quality, and selections are very important. It's a very large time, money, and an emotional investment, and we're here to listen and care. We realize the kitchen's the most used and abused room in the house. Our cabinets are locally custom made from Sanderson Cabinets out of Lawrenceburg. They're real wood, poplar or maple, whether you paint or stain. All comes with slow close hardware and many pull-out different style options to choose from.
Since 1955, Evers Construction has been the company folks have trusted for residential and commercial construction projects. Today, Evers is still the leader in building and is just as committed to maintaining. From residential to commercial and industrial, Evers' team of experts stands ready to install, service, and repair all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Specializing in leak repair, maintenance, air duct cleaning and repair, air handler service, drain cleaning, gas line work, emergency unit repair, inspections, and more. Evers Construction offers a preventative maintenance package to keep your home or business cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Trained, trusted, reliable. For more information or to schedule an appointment with the pros who know, phone 931-762-3593 or visit eversconstructionco.com. Evers Construction Company in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome in to this Monday edition of the SEC Tailgate, everybody, here on the X Sports Network. I'm Michael Marks alongside Hayden Burks. And Hayden, it's officially week 0. So this past Saturday was the last Saturday without college football till give or take mid-January. Now I'm just counting the playoffs as Saturday games, even though they're all over the place. But there will be college football played this week, starting Saturday. We got headlined by Iowa State and Kansas State. We got Farmageddon going on in Dublin, Ireland, Saturday at 11 o'clock on ESPN. A ton of big games. Not the huge headliners like you're used to, but it's week 0, so it's just fun to see anybody out there. But Iowa State and Kansas State, a very good game to start the week off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for it. Like you said, Iowa State and Kansas State, we're going to see a little bit of Big 12 action with that one, so probably two of the top dogs within that. Of course, we said Arizona State earlier will probably be in that conversation as well to win the conference championship. But, yeah, I'm really excited. Coming into this season, I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't excited just because all the NIL stuff and just, overall. But, it's one of those things when you get closer and closer to time, that's whenever it starts to ramp up. You get that spark.
You get more excited. It doesn't matter what's been going on in the offseason. Still excited for football to go. Some news today, Auburn is retiring former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Cam Newton's number 2. His number, nobody had worn the number since Cam Newton walked off that field after beating Oregon in the national championship game in 2010.
Nobody else will ever do it either.
Yeah. And I've been saying, and as of this point, nobody will ever wear that number at Auburn again. And, it felt kind of weird just initially looking at the post announcing that because Cam only spent 1 year at Auburn. He spent almost as much time at Florida. Now, obviously, he was very, very successful at Auburn. 14-0 as the starting quarterback. But Cam Newton led that Auburn offense that was top in scoring in the SEC, had the best most points per game in the SEC, most rush yards per game in the SEC, most total yards per game in the SEC, and the best passing efficiency in the conference. So Cam Newton won the Heisman that year, obviously. Auburn won the national championship, and he was the only player on that offense that started a game in the NFL.
Yeah.
So he took an offense that had nothing and went along with that. Now, their defense was excellent that year. Yeah. A bunch of NFL guys there, but he pretty much led a team of glorified high school players to the national championship, and they won and were very successful at doing it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't ignore what he did at Auburn and, basically by himself on the offensive side. And like you said, defense was really good, but, man, just, offense is the reason you put points on the board. Yeah. So for him to do it with just, like you said, a bunch of guys that never played in the NFL really, it's pretty impressive. And like you said, after winning that national championship, I'm not surprised at all that we're not going to see. Or I'm kind of surprised that it's taken this long to get that jersey retired, but I'm not shocked that they're making that move.
Yeah, not one bit. Big move for Auburn. I mean, you have a guy that won a Heisman Trophy with Auburn, and the 1 year was there, and then won an NFL MVP in 2016 or 2015 with the Panthers. So, I mean, very talented player and very deserving, because the list of NFL MVPs and Heisman Trophy winners is a very, very short list. Something we talked on earlier, Alabama starting running back J.M. Miller injured his collarbone on Saturday and is out indefinitely. People surrounding the Alabama program are hoping that he can be back for the Georgia game on September 27th. It was something we talked about on our show earlier, Hayden. That's a very big piece, because obviously Alabama is typically, especially under Nick Saban, would throw 3 or 4 running backs out there, and we saw them play 2 or 3 pretty consistently last year. Justice Haynes being one of them, but now it's kind of J.M. Miller was your guy going into the year, and having him out indefinitely, and praying he can be back by week 4 or week 5. That's putting a lot of pressure on those guys behind him, because I feel like one of the most important things that I feel like goes undervalued when it comes to looking at running backs in this conference is their blocking ability.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we've seen many plays where a freshman will come in a big road game and the quarterback gets drilled because he didn't know his pass protection. So it's very interesting what this will lead to at Alabama. I don't think it'll be too big of a problem, obviously, because Alabama started the season. While the Florida State game, because neither one of them teams have played yet, we don't know what to judge them off of. It makes it a little more interesting, but I still don't think Alabama really has anything to worry about until that Georgia game. But it definitely raises some questions, but maybe it gives a young guy a chance to step up and make some plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's what basically football is, the next guy up, basically. But, yeah, I'm with you. I really don't think there will be an issue before that game. Obviously, you're playing Florida State. We don't know much from Florida State. We know they've probably got a little bit better, but nothing that Alabama should be overly concerned about. And then they've got Louisiana Monroe, week 2. That won't be an issue for them. And then they got week 3 Wisconsin, where Wisconsin might give them a little issue, but nothing where I don't think Alabama can overcome and beat them in that game. So yeah, hopefully they get him back by week 4, because if not, it's going to be tough for Alabama in that week. And it's in Georgia.
It's at
too.
Georgia. Yeah. Some more Alabama running back news that isn't the best. Former Alabama running back T.J. Yeldon was arrested in Daphne, Alabama last night. Moving on, Tennessee, his name Joey Aguilar, the starting quarterback for the Vols, week 1 opponent Syracuse, who also named their starting quarterback today, Steve Angeli. Aguilar threw for 6,700 yards and 56 touchdowns in 2 seasons at Appalachian State. 24 interceptions as well, which is kind of the number that is making a lot of people curious, because we've seen in the quarterbacks that have played under Josh Heupel, turnovers haven't been a huge problem. I mean, a little more with Nico than the previous 2 guys, but Hendon Hooker was not a turnover problem. And while we may have given him a lot of crap for his arm, Joe Milton wasn't a big turnover problem. I mean, he just overthrew everyty. That was that was his problem.
That was his issue. Yeah. Of course, I mean, and it's like I said in the show earlier today, I'm hoping that we're banking on a transfer, a guy that's had experience. Obviously, with Hendon Hooker transferring from Virginia Tech and then having the season he had in 2022, and then with Joe Milton had a terrible career at Michigan and then came to Tennessee, and he might have not lived up to the expectation that was set from the previous season. But
he was still drafted.
He's still drafted, and he's the number 2 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and he's made some pretty good throws in the preseason. I'm sitting there watching some highlights, thinking, man, he never did this in Knoxville.
Like, where's this?
Where was that 49 yards on a dime?
Yeah, and then you bring the freshman in, the 5-star freshman, which we all had hope for, and it just didn't pan out. So I don't know if it was just a thing where he wasn't reading the field as good. Was it experience that he didn't have? Because he did sit his freshman year, and he was redshirt freshman last year. So maybe this experience will will boost the quarterback play. And I'm just, like I said, I'm still a lot of question marks as a Tennessee fan. Lost a lot on defense, lost a lot offensively too, production wise. So it's basically going to be almost a completely new team, but I'm still kind of looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, leading up to when the spring game was for Tennessee, and seeing Nico hit the transfer portal that Monday morning, it left a lot of question marks on Tennessee's quarterback room, because the only 2 scholarship guys you had left at that point were George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger. You bring in Joey Aguilar from UCLA and App State, and you don't really know what you're getting from him, because he was probably going to be UCLA's starting quarterback, and then you bring in a guy that hasn't played in the SEC, probably wasn't really looking at the SEC before Tennessee gave him a call, and I think Merklinger. I really do think once Aguilar had transferred and made it to campus, that it really was a 3-man race for whoever was going to be the starting quarterback, and him winning it fair and square makes me think that we've maybe got something in this guy. It taking that long also has me a little worried, but maybe that just means that the other guys were performing really well, and this was a very competitive quarterback battle.
Yeah, and I really like you said, I think it was really competitive. I know McIntyre, he's going to be a junior.
He's the freshman. Merklinger will be a sophomore.
Okay, all right. So maybe that gives McIntyre or Merklinger, either one of them, some time to sit back, learn the offense, and maybe Joey. I hope Joey has a good career at Tennessee, but maybe something's not clicking, and you have to make that move. And like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to quarterback change.
Well, I was talking
if it need.
And talking with some friends this weekend about it. You're heading into that Georgia game, week 3. What if Aguilar doesn't have a good game? You got to be able to be ready to put somebody in, and maybe Merklinger is the guy. Maybe McIntyre is the guy. Yeah. So I don't think anything's set in stone for conference play unless Aguilar comes out and performs better than expected. But I still think this is a quarterback battle that may even go into the middle parts of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see all 3 guys the first 2 weeks at least. With maybe not as much for Syracuse, but that ETSU game we're going to see some of those guys play. And then Georgia, we're obviously going to tell who Joey Aguilar is, and then depending on that, I know who do we got after Georgia? UAB. Yep. UAB. Probably going to see all 3 guys in that one too as well. So it's going to be a lot of scouting for Josh Heupel the first 4 weeks for him. Yeah.
Another topic we talked about earlier on our show: the Big Ten has a proposed 24 or 28 team playoff.
Nope.
The proposal would feature an assumed 7 SEC auto bids, 7 Big Ten auto bids, 5 ACC, 5 Big 12, 2 Power 4, and then 2 at-large bids. If you're going to have a 28-team playoff, just my initial thoughts, you have to have more than 2 at-large bids.
Yeah, no, I'm totally against it, and it's what I said earlier. 28 is too much. 24 is too much. I think 16 should be the max. I don't like what they were saying about eliminating conference championship games, because there's no point in conferences anymore. If that happens, the SEC doesn't exist anymore. The Big Ten, in my opinion, doesn't exist anymore. I think it's going to ruin college football. And I'm totally against that proposal. I'm not a big fan, and if I had a say in it, I would say no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, and in my honest opinion, I think in the next maybe not 10 to 15 years, maybe a little further down the line, I think the number they're going to end up settling on is 8. I think any more than that is just too many, because we're already at the point now where you have coaches saying, well, man, my conference championship game doesn't matter, because if I lose that, if I make it there and lose, I'm not going to make the playoff. Lane Kiffin was making that argument last fall. So I think settling at 8, where everybody plays in that first round of the playoff, I think playoff buys are terrible, because you see the 4 teams that got the buys last year, all 4 of them lost in their first playoff game.
Like I said, I'm okay with buys, but not to get the top 4. Yeah. Like if you win your conference, I think that allows you to get a bye into the playoffs.
Yeah. So yeah, 24 or 28 team playoff. Surprisingly, getting a little bit of steam, enough to be covered, by ESPN and some people like that. But yeah, for most here, no go.
No.
ESPN FPI's preseason top 25 was released, the Football Power Index, so pretty much what their computer thinks college football heading into the year. An interesting top 25, 12 SEC teams. They have the top three. The SEC makes up the top three, and all 12 are in the top 23. So, making up half of that list is very impressive. Texas, obviously, number 1. Georgia at 2. Alabama at 3. That very, very tough teams right there. Tennessee at 8.
Ooh.
That's a lot of confidence in Tennessee's defense. A&M at 9, and that's another one of those where you just look at all the 5 stars that they've gotten over the past couple of years. They should be really good, but we'll see. Ole Miss at 10, South Carolina at 11, LSU 12, Florida 13. Interesting that in the football and the FPI that Ole Miss and South Carolina are getting the edge on LSU and Florida when it's vice versa like that in most other media polls. Oklahoma at 20, Auburn at 21, and then Missouri at 23. And then similarly to some other polls, the teams not receiving votes are not in is Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. Yeah. But that's a very tough conference when you have your top 12 teams in the top 23 in the country when it comes to the Football Power Index.
Yeah, the one that stands out to me is Tennessee. Obviously, we saw they were, in my opinion, a top 5 defense in the nation last year. And
I think they can be just as good this year.
Yeah, I think they can be just as good. We're going to have to see, though. I know they lost a lot of pieces, but bring a lot back. I think 8 is maybe just a little too high in my opinion. Maybe probably around that 10 to 12 range. Yep. I like the confidence, and maybe that just boosts confidence in me as a fan that say, okay, hey, the defense is maybe not as down as I thought it'd be.
Yeah, and obviously a top 10 team is not going to be good just because their defense. They got some confidence in the offense as well. So I guess a good look from ESPN on the Vols. All right, so coming up, we're going to continue our schedule and review our best case, worst case scenario for some SEC teams. We got LSU and Mississippi State this week coming up next.
Hi, I'm Jeff Overton, pastor of Mars Hill Baptist Church. And it's that time of year again where the hallways of the schools come alive with life. We love hearing the children go back, their laughter, their squeals, the excitement. And we want you to know at Mars Hill Baptist Church, we're praying for you as you start back to school. Whether you're in the kindergarten and starting your very first day, or whether this is your senior year, it's the last time you're going to walk the halls of that high school. We want you to know we're praying for you and we're supporting you. We're praying you have a great, productive year, a safe year, and when you come to the end of this school year, you look back and say, what a great year it's been. I also like to encourage you. We have a great children and student ministries at Mars Hill Baptist Church, and we'd love to come alongside you and help you grow in that area of your life as well. So as you begin this school year, begin knowing we're behind you, we support you, and we love you. God bless you. Have a great school year.
The storm doesn't ask. It takes. It tests. It pushes everything to its limit. Some things are built different. Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements, proven by time, engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. Building dreams that last.
Gifts and goodies galore await you at Miss Millie's in downtown Lawrenceburg. From brands you know and love, like E. Newton Jewelry and Tyler Diva Wash, to unique specialty gifts, you will find it all here. Whether you're looking for the perfect gift for someone you love or shopping for yourself, shopping local is the way to go. We have home goods, women's fashion and accessories, baby items, and lots of seasonal decorations. Our friendly staff will welcome you in, help you find what you need, and even package your gifts for you. Also, we can't forget to tell you about our popular bridal registry. Future brides can come and create their perfect registry with us. So stop by Miss Millie's today. We're located in the northeast corner of the square in downtown Lawrenceburg.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to SEC Tailgate here. Hey, we're getting closer to the season. We're looking at more schedules, and we're almost to the halfway point of the SEC, doing teams 7 and 8 today, so this will be the halfway point. We got LSU and Mississippi State on the slate today, so we'll just go ahead and get right into it with LSU. Week 1, they're at Clemson, 6:30 game on ABC. Clemson went 10-4 last year, obviously won the ACC, made the playoff. Where that 12 seed had to travel to face Texas. We're pretty competitive in that game for the most part, but Texas last year, despite not winning the national championship, was on a different level. But this Clemson team returns a ton from that team. Last year, you obviously bring back Cade Klubnik, you bring back most of your defense. That's a tough game for LSU week 1, and just looking at the fact that LSU has lost their last, I believe, 5 week 1, so definitely not a good look for LSU heading into week 1 also. I mean, you don't know about Garrett Nussmeier, what that status will be. I'm going to have to drop a loss right here, week 1.
I've got to drop a loss too, like you said. I think it really just relies on Garrett Nussmeier. It's at Clemson. I'm not – if I'm an LSU fan, I'm not looking forward to this. And I think it's going to be a loss to start the season for LSU. And like we've said, they haven't won their first game since 2019, Joe Burrow. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that stat feels almost unreal just to look at. Week 2, they host Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, an interesting team last year, went 5-7 and got a bowl draw. They lost. So they went 5-8 last year. They played 13 games and only won 5 of them. So a bit of an interesting look right there, but I got them winning that game. Yeah, they come back home after probably a tough week 1. And then you got 2 straight home games, the second of which being week 3, September 13th. They welcome Florida into the Swamp. And Florida was an interesting team last year. They started the year off terribly. But, man, by the time they got to the LSU game, which was later in the season last year, this is really early compared to last year, they were a good team. We have Florida losing this game on our Florida schedule, so that gives LSU the win. Yeah. But I really do think LSU is going to win this game. I think it's a bit of a get back for them in a game that
they've got circled, like we said last time. Whenever Florida,
this is probably that big one of the 2 big circle games they have.
You need, if you're an LSU fan, you need to win your first SEC game. Yep. You need to win.
All right, so you're 2-1 heading into a game against Southeast Louisiana, an FCS team, an easy win. And now that brings up what has been a great game for it feels like the past 4 or 5 years. LSU heading to Oxford to play Ole Miss. Ole Miss went 10-3 last year, but LSU actually won this game 29-26 in overtime. It was in the Swamp, or it was at Death Valley. It was a night game, so that already made it incredibly hard for Ole Miss. Jackson Dart didn't have his best game, but again, I think this is a tough one because I really have this one at a toss-up because LSU has the experience heading into this year. Ole Miss is a big unknown. We don't know what we're getting out of Ole Miss. If we get what we've seen from Lane Kiffin with first-year quarterbacks, I would almost say Ole Miss is going to win this game, but I just think it's too tough of a game for Austin Simmons to come in. I'm going to give this one to LSU.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one LSU too. I'm with you on that. Like you said, I was really going back and forth looking at this. I'm thinking, okay, but LSU, they got experience compared quarterback-wise, but I think it's going to be a close one too, just like last year.
Yep.
I think we can see multiple overtimes in this game as well. So I'm going to take LSU by the hair on my chinny chin
Yeah.
chin.
All right, so the next week, for October 4th, they have a bye week, bringing us to week 6 on October 11th. They host South Carolina, a game that they won by 3 points last year, pretty much because of a penalty. It was a very close matchup, but I just think, with this game being at the Swamp, it's going to depend on the time of this game. If we get an 11 o'clock kickoff, which I don't think we'll have with these two teams at this point in the year. No. If it was a day game, I'd give you South Carolina, but I just can't see LSU losing a night game, which this would probably be.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be a night game, and I've got LSU win this one easily, in my opinion.
Now, week 7, October 18th at Vanderbilt. It's my upset of the year. I think Vanderbilt's going to get LSU.
I mean, yeah, that could be the upset of the year.
I got some personal in that one, but I really just feel like Vanderbilt gets an upset every year.
They do.
Whether you think it or not, because you look at 2022, they upset Florida at home, stormed the field. Last year, Alabama, almost Texas. This year, I think LSU's that team they get. They almost got them in the Swamp last year, 24-17, and this just feels like one of those games that LSU, it's between South Carolina and A&M, and then you got Alabama coming on the heels of that one. I just think they might forget about this one.
Yeah. I think it could happen, but I don't see it. I think with Vanderbilt, I think LSU, they're kind of hitting their strides right here through this part of the season. Need another SEC win here, and they'll be 4-0 in SEC coming into this one. Or after this game, so I got LSU taking over Vanderbilt.
Next, they got a home game versus South Carolina, or versus Texas A&M. Pardon. Texas A&M was a very good team last year. They actually beat LSU last year, if you remember that game, 38-23. We saw Marcel Reed run all over LSU, and Garrett Nussmeier must have thought the A&M DBs were his receivers, how many times he threw the ball to the other team. But I think this is going to be another get-back game for LSU. I think Texas A&M and Florida are the two games they have circled, because those were the two games they lost last year that they should not have lost. Yeah. And so I think they get a little get-back right here, heading into the bye week where they head to.
Yeah. I honestly, I think history's going to repeat itself. I've got Texas A&M beating LSU.
All right.
I think they're going to go into Death Valley. I'm betting this will probably be another night game as well. But I think Reed's going to do the exact same thing last year. Maybe Nussmeier has a better game, but I just, for me, Texas A&M has had LSU's number in the past.
Because it was crazy once they took out Connor Wigman and put in Marcel Reed that for some reason LSU just forgot how to move the ball, and they were turning it over, and A&M took advantage of it. All right, so following the bye week, November 1st, they got a big one, week 9, November 8th. At Alabama. Alabama went 9-4 last year, but this was probably the game Alabama looked the best in last year, beating LSU in the Swamp at night, 42-13.
Yeah. Obviously, I said it whenever we were predicting Alabama. I think this is LSU's game. I know they haven't had much success in Tuscaloosa, but after that Texas A&M game, I think they're going to throw something at Alabama that Alabama just wasn't really expecting. And of course, Alabama was on a hot streak going into that to this game for me. So I'm going to take LSU. I think this is a Nussmeier game.
And this was a game looking at our other schedule, this was one we had a toss-up on. All right, so now we got them at, I believe at 7-3, heading into the, or maybe 6-3. Yeah. I got them at 6-3.
Yeah, I've got them at
7-2.
7-2. Yeah.
So November 15th, game against Arkansas, a game they won last year at on the road, a game I think they'll win at home. Then you head into a game against Western Kentucky. Now, while Western Kentucky has been very good under Tyson Helton, their offense has been putting up a ton of points. It's Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I've got LSU.
Now, a very, very interesting one to end the season. So, that Saturday after Thanksgiving at Oklahoma, an Oklahoma team that went 6-7 last year, a game that LSU won 37-17 last year at home. I don't know, though, because this could be, if Oklahoma is 6-5 looking into this game, yeah, LSU will probably crush them. But if this is like a 9-2 Oklahoma coming into this game, or an 8-3 Oklahoma coming into this game, watch out. But for now, I'm giving LSU the win, and I got them slotted at 9-3.
Yeah, golly, this Oklahoma game is so
Because you don't know what you're getting from either one of these teams.
You don't know what you're going to get from either one of these teams. We saw Oklahoma, what they did to Alabama in Oklahoma last year. I think Oklahoma's going to play spoiler. I think they're going to beat LSU and possibly knock them out of contention of getting to the college football playoffs.
Because 9-3 is going to be a fringe playoff team this year when it comes to just, because I think this year when they looked at record, I think last year they looked at record. I think this is going to be the year where they look at strength of schedule. So I think you need to build up a hard schedule, and LSU's got a pretty tough one. I mean, they're going to Clemson week 1. That's a very tough non-conference game. I mean, you're not playing really any scrubs when it comes to your non-conference. I mean, Louisiana Tech's not great, but they made a bowl last year. Western Kentucky was in their conference championship and a bowl game this last year. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fairly tough schedule. I mean, I think best case for LSU is 11-1 or 10-2.
Yeah, I think 10-2 is best.
Because I think this LSU team at their best could split with Alabama and Clemson and sweep the board on the rest of them. But worst case scenario, I mean, this could be a record that's not very good because you can easily lose that Clemson game. Florida's a toss-up. Yeah. I think Ole Miss is a toss-up. South Carolina is. Texas A&M could be. Alabama. I mean, and Oklahoma. That's 7 games that could go either which way. That's the difference between an 11-1 and a 7-5 team.
I'm sitting at 9-3 for them. I think they're just going to miss the playoffs off that last game.
All right, so that's going to bring up Mississippi State. This one's going to be a lot of L's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, it's just they're in the SEC and they're not the greatest team in the world. Starting off though, again a home game against Southern Miss. Southern Miss was the only team in the state of Mississippi that was worse than Mississippi State last year, so I'll give them that one.
Yeah, I'm going to give them that one.
Week 2 though, they got a tough one. Now, given this could be a huge game for Mississippi State. This could be where they bring out those new black uniforms that they debuted last week. September 6th at home against Arizona State. It's a night game. This was a close game last year that Mississippi State went on the road and lost 30-23, and you're like, oh gosh, Mississippi State, gosh, y'all suck. How'd y'all lose this game to Arizona State? Because they had been, a pretty sorry team for the past couple of years, and then out of nowhere last year. So, if you look at last year, saying, hey, you almost won that game on the road. Now you got them at home at night.
Yep.
I mean, those Cowbells are going to be hard to play in, but I mean, I don't think there's any way
I don't think they'll
it's going to be tough to beat Arizona State.
Yep. That's 1-1.
Now, week 3 they got Alcorn State. I think that's a win there. And the following week they host Northern Illinois, and I think they watched that Notre Dame game last year, and I think they're a little scared, but I think they handle business.
Yep.
That Northern Illinois team lost a lot from last year, and now they're 3-1 heading into that Tennessee game with all whites. It could be a big momentum game for them, but I don't see them.
I don't see it either. I think Tennessee wins that one easily.
Going up against A&M last year, a game they only lost by 10 points. It was at home though, and now you got an 8-5 A&M team coming in here, or you're traveling to them. Playing there is incredibly tough. So
that 12th man, I've got an L for Mississippi State again.
Yep. So now we're looking at 3-3 heading into your first bye week. They got a brutal start to the schedule, 6 straight weeks without a bye week. October 11th, they get their first bye week. They go to Florida. They lose in the Swamp probably.
Yep,
I mean that place is tough to play, and they hosted Florida last year at at Mississippi State, and I remember watching that game. It was week 4. It was when Tennessee went to Oklahoma that week, and sitting there watching the game, and obviously that was when Blake Shapen, their quarterback, got hurt, and Michael Van Buren came in. But man, I mean, Florida just did whatever they wanted against them, and Mississippi State couldn't handle it. I think we're probably going to see a pretty similar deal this year. Next week at Texas, tough one.
They're going to get stomped.
But they're probably going to get stomped. Then they got the next week at Arkansas. We already had Arkansas winning that game, so now
that's our best chance of getting a conference win, but I still see a loss there.
Very well. Georgia.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. At Missouri. That's a
loss. That's another toss-up for me, but I still see a loss.
It very well could be a toss-up.
We don't know what Missouri's going to have at that time.
Yeah. Then they have a bye week going into the Egg Bowl, which is always a good game, but I think Ole Miss is going to take this one once again, bringing us to a grand total of 3-9.
I think that's respectable.
I do too.
2-10 last year.
Yep.
You won another game, so I think 3-9.
It's a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction. Yep.
I think best case scenario for this team is 4 wins. I think that they could win that game against A&M. I think they could maybe even win that game against Missouri. Maybe
Arkansas.
Maybe Arkansas. I mean, there's a couple of games on that schedule that they could flip. But just looking at what they were doing last year, they didn't have many close games. I mean, they had some weird ones that were kind of close, like a 10-point game against Georgia, a 10-point win against A&M. But I just don't see them really being able to keep up too great this year. Worst case 2-10. I think that they're going to beat Alcorn State, and I think that they'll beat Southern Miss. I think an FCS team and a team that won one game last year are pretty much gimmies. Northern Illinois could shock you. I mean, look at what they did to Notre Dame last year. They were one of the 2 teams to beat Notre Dame all year. So a very interesting schedule nonetheless. That's the first half of our SEC schedule's done. We got a lot more to get to. We got five shows left.
I think so. But I say Wednesday we'll have Missouri, and who's the other one there?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
So very, very. I would say those are 2 teams that you don't know a lot about. So that will be on the show for Wednesday. Friday we got Ole Miss and South Carolina, so that should be a good one. But for Hayden Burks and Michael Marks, this has been the Monday edition of the SEC Tailgate, and have a good day, everybody.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.